What's up, everybody? Welcome back. This is Forgo, and a lot of you were wondering as to whether or not King is actually any good in Guild Raid, especially since he has Starlight. But the thing about King is he does have Starlight Explosion. Now, this is a 50% chance to deal Starlight damage equal to 2.2 times of the target's remaining Starlight damage. For those of you that don't know, when you see this 2.2 times or 3 point whatever times of the target's certain amount of dot effect, that's a explosion effect, and it removes the Starlight effect and decreases the power by 10% upon landing a skill on a target in Starlight. And so whether he's doing his basic skills or his active skills, he's got a 50% chance to do the dot explosion, but it's on an 8-second cooldown. So here's the thing about him: if he actually does the Starlight damage, say he does the dot explosion on his first skill, right? He's got Starlight on it. It's on an 8-second cooldown. Well, he'll do the dot explosion, then he's going to actually remove it. But the thing is, he actually has Starlight on another skill. So what I always do when I'm playing Guild Raid is I actually do the 3 and the 1. That way, if he does apply the explosion and you throw in the other skill, he actually will still apply the Starlight. I've tested him multiple times in Guild Raid, and every single time I get the same outcome, the exact same. And the outcome is he's actually damn good for Guild Raid. He actually does super well for it. I never had a problem of the Starlight actually being removed, and that's because he has Starlight on 2 different skills. It just seems like it's always applied no matter what. Every time that I've tested him, and again, it was multiple times, he applied the Starlight, and whenever I switched to Mai or Rugal in my case, the Starlight was applied. You'll see that in the run, and every run I did prior to the run that you'll all see was the exact same outcome. Another thing about King that's really nice is he does have that hyper armor, and his first skill is a range attack. So say you're far away, actually all of his skills are range attacks. So whenever you do the third skill or the first skill that has that Starlight damage, you can actually be far away from Rugal. Now, there are some caveats to this character. Whenever you do his 3PG animation, a lot of times Rugal, you'll be up in the air, right? You're like flying in the air, and when you come down, Rugal can actually hit you. Now, you see the card set that I actually ran with, nothing special. I just used a regular KS set. We know that applies the most damage, but if I really wanted to add a little extra damage, I could have easily put in one of these option cards right here that offers the extra increased attack to 20% of defense, and that would have worked out really well, especially since King has the increased attack by 45% of defense on him. And I know that this set actually applies more damage than the Merlin set, which is this one here, or the Knowledge set. I've already tested this, and I already know that the KS set does apply a little bit more damage. And we also know that attack stones are the best for King. Now, since my King is only 1 star, he can die very easy. So I have to play in such a way where I make sure that whenever Rugal does his explosion, he does it on Rugal or Mai. And that's very important because Rugal, he is at level 50, but he gets I think it's this one here. He gets the decreased damage received by 30% for 5 seconds when he's attacked. And that really helps his survivability. As far as his ability to see the max imprint stones, I am running the Serena set with the Rugal option card. Max capsules. That's another thing, by the way. My King has no capsules. This is the bare minimum build. Awaken level 10, just awaken him once, and then throw on a KS set and 1 imprint stone. And I'm using Nakaruru here. And I'm mainly using Nakaruru just because she's at 4 star. She's just going to add a lot of extra CP. And if you look at the striker bonus, you do get the active team member gain super armor for 5 seconds and recovery by 13% HP. I'm not really too worried about that. We're not really going to need that. It might come in handy at some points. But the striker bonus, the increased attack by 15% if HP is 70% or more, or increased attack by 15% when HP is 30% or less, is actually really good. Now, he does have a lot of other nice options. I mean, you got the yellow version of Meliodas here that actually decreases skill cooldown, gives him an increased attack, right? And then the decreased damage received by 4%. Merlin is the same thing. Bon is the same thing. Dion is the same thing. I really wish they would have been a little more versatile in the striker bonuses instead of all these being exactly the same. That would have been really nice. The green version of Meliodas, I mean, again, it's the same as the other ones. But then you got King, who has a striker effect that gives the increased attack by 4% for every 10 combos. But it's obtained power 1% when killing an enemy, and you're never going to kill Rugal, so King really isn't the best choice. So I opted to run with Nakaruru because you just get more attack. And you do get a heal if you do take damage, but the way that I'm going to play, I'm not going to. And then we have the Akane set, and then we do have the Rugal option card. And the option card for her really is awesome because she just has strike skills, which is freaking amazing. I mean, this is a blast skill right here, but her first and second skill are strike skills. And then her finisher is also a strike skill. So the Rugal option card actually buffs her up quite a bit. And then, of course, the Mai option card, which is OP for female characters. The increased attack by 5%, decreased skill cooldown. And then the increased attack by 13% for 5 seconds. That grants super armor for 2 seconds when tagging in. So that's awesome whenever you're dropping in. And then Rugal can't kick you around while you're in the air because you'll have that super armor. And you can see I've already used up my keys, so let's jump into the action and let's rock and roll. So every time I've done this run, I pretty much get around the same score. We start with Rugal, we run through his skills, we switch to King, do the first and the third skill, and then we switch to Mai, and we start running through our rotations. Now, with Mai, it's really important to always start with her second skill when you're dropping in, especially if you have the super armor card, because it's actually going to give her that nice increased attack. And her third skill also gives the increased attack, so you could actually start with that. But I like to start with the second skill, then go into the first skill, and then go into her third skill, because then it actually can reset her first and second skill. So you start with the first skill with Mai, then you so you start with the second skill with Mai, then hit her first skill, then the third, then the 2-1, hit your awakened skill, and start pouring on her skills. And there you see me hit the awakened skill, then we go 3, 2, 1, 3, 2, 1. And we're just going to keep pouring. And I'm just going to keep spamming these skills. Now, obviously, your damage is going to vary depending on the characters that you use. And I can tell you, for me, Mai and Rugal are just so good. Because whenever they do their 3PGs, like the 3PG that you're watching right now, Rugal can't interrupt that skill, which is freaking dope, right? Plus, with Mai, she actually gets a decreased damage received by 50% for 5 seconds after she does her 3PG. But she gets a heal from her other 3PG that's always in the game. And, you know, I'm not using any PG strikers or nothing like that. For King, he has enough PG rate in his core that he can actually build up his PG fast enough. He has 15% PG rate in his core. I'm sorry, 20% PG rate in his core. So he builds up his PG just fast enough. There we go, let's go. And it's really important when you're playing with Rugal, whenever you get down that meter down to the bottom, that you go ahead and use this 3PG at the end in hopes to get Guild Raid Rugal to do the explosion like what you're seeing right now. Then we switch to King, we run through his skills, we do the 3PG, and again, sometimes when you do this 3PG, like, you're up in the air right now, right? But at the end of it, you're actually falling down, and Rugal can actually hit you in the middle of that skill, which really sucks. And you want to be doing the 3PG every time at the end for Mai and Rugal and King, so that way you're kind of stalling your timer. That way every time you go back to Mai and Rugal, they'll have their awakened skill ready. So that way you can spam. And this honestly really is, for me, the easiest way to score good points. Instead of trying to always delay the timer with the 3PG, and I do think in some situations that is the best thing to do. But for these two characters, Mai and Rugal, it's really just easier to do it the way that I'm doing. And I consistently get over 400 million. And that's with using King. Now, obviously, when I use Athena, I do better because my Athena is actually at 3 stars. And she has max imprint stones, 3 imprint stones on her, so she actually does better. But I mean, if my king was leveled up, we would do a lot more damage in all reality, and we wouldn't have to worry about him dying so much. You know, I could let Rugal explode on him once in a while. Now there I kind of screwed up. I didn't hit my 3PG fast enough, but I'm going to go ahead and hit it here. That way we can stall that timer a little bit, so that way when we come back to Mai, we'll have our awakened skill ready. Here we go, come on. We'll do a little damage and we hit his 3PG. That way we apply a little Starlight first. Oh yeah. Tear it up. And I mean, I was really pleasantly surprised with O'King. He did so much better than what I actually anticipated. And there, that kind of sucked, but we still got Rugal we still broke his meter. Poor Mai there, took a little bit. But, I mean, look, guys, you know, we're at 390 million. We're going to break 400 million in this run. And this is just using a 1-star king. I mean, it just goes to show you in guild raid, if you have 2 strong characters, and Rugal and Mai are always going to be in the game. In fact, I'm betting the BS characters are probably going to show up after this banner. I'm almost betting they're going to show up after this banner because they showed up after the 7 Knights banner whenever that collab ended. So I'm betting that's exactly what Netmarvel's going to do. Now I went ahead and hit my 3PG there because we were down to 1 second. So I want to do as much damage as I can. There we go, broke the meter. Apply a little bit more damage there. Run through our skills. And 416 million with a 1-star king and no capsules. So is he good for this? Oh yeah. Absolutely, yeah, he's really good. Another reason why I like using his team is because Rugal has the 40% increase of all attacks, so he actually buffs up King and Mai. But if you were using Mai in the leadership and you were using Merlin as a damage dealer instead of, you know, in my case, using Mai, you're still going to do really, really good. King can absolutely do this. Like I said, I've done this run multiple times. I've tested this multiple times, and it was very consistent. I had no problems with the Starlight being removed. I had no problems when I switched to my characters after I used King. Just make sure that you use the 3rd and the 1st skill to ensure that if the Starlight does get removed, that you apply it afterwards before you switch to your next character. So let me know how you're all feeling about King. I think he's freaking fantastic. He's really great in PvP, which is something I didn't even touch on in this video. But for the most rewarding game mode in the game, King is actually extremely relevant if you're not using Elizabeth and Athena. And the beautiful thing about King versus Elizabeth and Athena is he's a collab character. You can actually level him up without getting more memories for him because you can actually use dimensional invitation tickets on him, which is a massive benefit in my opinion. So let me know how you're all feeling about King. And I stream on Twitch at 9 p.m. GMT plus 7 times, Sunday through Thursday. The link will be in the description below. And I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching. Y'all take care and have a good one.